the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
After all the conversations that we have had on who we expect Ryan Poles and the Bears to target in round one of the 2025 NFL Draft, two Bears insiders actually believe that this unexpected position group can actually be in play for the Bears in round one. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, as always, we are going to be talking a little bit more about the NFL Draft as it's coming ever closer on April 24th, which will be the start of round one in Green Bay. And we have had so many different conversations about Ryan Poles and the expectation of what we think that he will actually target in round one of this year's NFL Draft. And for the most part, and this is Bears fans, draft analysts, people around the National Football League, all expect the Chicago Bears to have left tackle on their mind, running back, edge rusher, defensive tackle, or tight end in regard to their round one target at pick number 10 in this year's NFL Draft. But two Bears insiders actually believe that this unexpected position group is in play in round one for the Chicago Bears. First and foremost, we heard from Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune and, of course, Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog. These two guys, to me, have amazing sources. When they come out and talk about something, to me, I take a step back and actually listen. Rather you believe them or not, this is what they had to say in regard to this unexpected position group that could possibly be in play with the number 10 overall pick in this year's 2025 NFL Draft. Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune said this: cornerback isn't a position I would rule out for a high draft pick if there is a highly graded option at number 10. And Michigan's Will Johnson and Texas' Jahdae Barron could be on the board. It's at least worth a discussion because there's no such thing as having too much talent or depth at cornerback. The Bears would need to have a significantly higher grade on a cornerback to pass on some other options. Then Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog just the other day said this: number 2 corner. It is a position simply not discussed enough on the whole of social media. The Bears have one top shelf corner. That's it. Tyrique Stevenson is a temperamental liability. Kyler Gordon is solid, if unspectacular, in the slot. I'll be fascinated to see Gordon and Dennis Allen's scheme. The Bears don't need corner depth. They need someone to line up opposite Jaylon Johnson every Sunday. Bears fans, this is a very interesting conversation. It's a conversation that I've been having not only with my dad, but also my brother-in-law as well. My brother-in-law, and I want to give him a huge shout out, just a couple of weeks ago, brought this idea to my attention. He was like, hey, Keek, how would you feel about the Bears trading back and drafting one of Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson from either Texas or Michigan? And I really sat back, and he really just kind of started talking through with me and really convincing me. He's like, hey, check this out. You already have Kyler Gordon. You already have Jaylon Johnson. But do you really feel that Tyrique Stevenson is the long-term answer as the number 2 cornerback on this defense? And I started sitting back, and I'm like, you know what? Tyrique Stevenson, former second-round pick, has definitely had his flashes, but has also shown a lot of moments of ugliness and mental errors as well. And just like Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog, he is a temperamental liability. We saw it in the matchup against the Washington Commanders with the whole Hail Mary situation as he was mocking the crowd as the play was going on. He ended up tipping the ball to Noah Brown for the game-winning touchdown. And obviously, he took a lot of heat for that. But once again, he's also shown a whole lot of flashes as well that he could be that number 2 corner alongside Jaylon Johnson. Obviously, you would have to have a guaranteed feeling that, hey, Jahdae Barron out of Texas or Will Johnson out of Michigan are higher than ones of Will Campbell, Ashton Jeanty, right? Even going down to Kenneth Grant, Tyler Warren, Amarion Hampton. Those guys would have to be ranked higher on Ryan Poles and the Bears draft board, right? So to me, when we're looking at the situation, and we're just kind of talking about Tyrique Stevenson here, he had a 58.4 coverage grade last season in 2024, did really well in man coverage, had a 73.4 pass rate allowed in man, and most of his setbacks were in zone. And that's one of the things that could possibly save Tyrique Stevenson here. I know that he has shown a lot of mental errors, some immaturity issues as well, but when it comes to playing man coverage, he to me has shown a lot of flashes that he can be a reliable corner 2 opposite of Jalen Johnson. And the good news for him is that Dennis Allen actually prefers utilizing man coverage when calling his defense. So if that is the case, I can see Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, I'm giving Tyrique Stevenson one more opportunity, and knowing that looking at corner is not a major need. I don't think corner is a higher need than running back. I don't think corner is a higher need than adding another edge rusher or defensive tackle. I could see it maybe being higher than tight end. I could see it maybe being higher than maybe left tackle, just knowing that maybe the left tackle options are not all that great in the round 1 of this year's NFL draft. But when we're looking at other areas like tight end or left tackle, I can maybe see Ryan Poles and the Bears maybe prioritizing the cornerback position a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and talk about the 2 names that Brad Biggs brought up. Jahdae Barron out of Texas and Will Johnson out of Michigan, because these are 2 interesting names not to stay put at number 10 overall. I can maybe see the Bears, if they're really interested in one of these 2 guys, maybe trading back a little bit and still landing a very good player at the cornerback position. When you look at Jahdae Barron out of Texas, 5'11", 200 pounds, in 2024 and 16 games played, 37 receptions allowed on 68 targets for 284 yards, 0 touchdowns allowed, 5 interceptions, had a 34.2 passer rating allowed, a 90.7 overall grade, a 91.1 coverage grade, an 83.4 run defense grade as well. And when you look at Barron, he is a very versatile player. He can start at safety, out wide, or nickel, or all at once in one game. Texas used him all over the field. They put a whole bunch of stuff on his plate. He rose to the occasion every single time. He's a natural zone defender with great instincts and anticipation. Not as good in man coverage, which once again, when we're looking at Dennis Allen's defense here in Chicago, he prefers utilizing man coverage. So that could hurt Barron a little bit, but he's an outstanding player, great competitive toughness as well. This could potentially be an option if Brad Biggs and Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog truly feel that Ryan Poles and the Bears are interested in adding another corner. And then of course, when you look at Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan, 6'2", 202 pounds. In 2024, only played 6 games due to his turf toe injury, had 2 interceptions, a 52.6 passer rating allowed. Johnson is a lean, long corner with elite foot quickness, thrives playing off coverage as a zone scheme wide cornerback that allows him to make more impactful plays. Really struggled in man coverage. Once again, we only got a small sample size of him last year at Michigan due to his turf toe injury, but once again, Dennis Allen wants to play more man coverage, and that's something that Tyrique Stevenson does do at a very high level. So, Bears fans, give me your opinion on this, and let me know how you feel about what Brad Biggs and Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog had to say about this matter of the Bears potentially looking at corner in round 1. To me, I'm not all that crazy about it. I understand that when you're looking at corners, it's a premium position. And of course, I understand the idea of having Jalen Johnson and you have Kyler Gordon. If you could just add one more really, really good corner, you can be set for years to come and looking at our secondary. A secondary that's already pretty good here in Chicago. But I'm going to choose to have a little bit more belief in Tyrique Stevenson. I think he's going to have a bounce back year with new Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen. I think he's going to put him in the right situations to succeed. Honestly, if Tyrique Stevenson comes out and he's doing the same stuff, kind of like the up and down play and not consistent in certain areas, and still making those mental, temperamental errors that Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog referred to in his little statement that I read on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, then yeah, maybe in next year's draft, we can look at adding another cornerback alongside Jalen Johnson. But I think I'm going to give Tyrique Stevenson at least one more year to prove himself. As good as I think Jahdae Barron out of Texas can be, or Will Johnson out of Michigan can be for this Bears defense, to pair him with Jalen Johnson on the same defense, I don't think it's a dire need. I think the Bears, if Ashton Genty's there, they go Ashton Genty. I think they have Omarion Hampton higher than both of these guys. I think they would have Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan, higher. I think they would have Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, higher than both Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson. So Bears fans, give me your opinion on this. Do you think Ryan Poles and the Bears should look at drafting a corner in round 1 of the 2025 NFL draft? But other than that, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on